Liam sat in his small workshop, surrounded by scattered tools and half-finished gadgets. The hum of his computer filled the room, and the soft blue light of the holographic screen reflected on his glasses. He had spent most of his life repairing old machines, both human and alien, and while most people found alien devices too strange or unpredictable, Liam loved the challenge. Every beep, every flicker of alien energy was like a puzzle waiting to be solved. That evening, as Liam adjusted a delicate wiring inside a tiny alien power core, his workbench suddenly flickered. The holographic display in front of him brightened and shifted into an unfamiliar shape, a shape that was not one of his standard repair programs. A calm, melodic voice spoke, echoing softly around the room. "Liam Harrington, your skills are required. The Queen requests your presence." Liam froze. "The Queen?" he murmured to himself, leaning closer to the hologram. The image sharpened, revealing a tall, regal alien figure. Her skin shimmered faintly in soft gold tones, and her eyes, a deep violet, seemed almost liquid, reflecting the faint light of the holographic projection. Her long hair floated gently around her shoulders, as if underwater, and she wore a robe woven from threads of light itself. I think there's been some mistake," Liam said, rubbing his eyes. "I repair devices, not queens." The hologram did not fade. "No mistake, Liam Harrington. Your understanding of hybrid alien technology surpasses any other in the galaxy. My device has failed. Only you can repair it." Liam blinked. He had worked with alien devices before, yes, but an urgent request from an actual alien queen. That was something new. His curiosity, however, outweighed any fear. He had always wondered what it would be like to see advanced alien civilization up close. Now, it seemed, the universe had handed him the opportunity. "All right," he said, slowly, trying to sound braver than he felt. "I'll help, but where do I even start?" A soft glow appeared in the center of the hologram. "Step through the portal I will create. It will bring you directly to my palace. Time will not matter as it does for you. Prepare yourself." Before Liam could ask more questions, a circle of light formed on his workshop floor. It pulsed gently, humming like 1,000 tiny bees. Against every instinct telling him to run, Liam stepped forward. The moment his foot touched the light, the world twisted and bent around him. The walls of his workshop disappeared, and a sense of weightlessness overtook him. He felt like he was falling and floating at the same time. Then, as suddenly as it began, the sensation stopped. Liam blinked. He was no longer in his workshop. Towering structures of shimmering metal and crystal stretched out before him. Bridges of light connected floating platforms, and energy currents moved like streams in the air. Alien beings of various shapes and colors moved around, most humanoid, but some with features that made Liam's jaw drop. Wings of translucent light, multi-limbed figures, and beings whose very forms seemed to bend physics. A soft voice interrupted his awe. "Welcome, human." Liam turned to see a smaller alien about his height with silver blue skin and wide, gentle eyes. "I am Myra," it said. "You have been chosen to assist the Queen. Follow me." Liam nodded, swallowing his nervousness. As he walked behind Myra, he noticed the quiet hum of the city around him. The buildings seemed alive, pulsing gently with energy. The air was filled with light, yet it was cool and comfortable, as if the city itself was aware of him and had accepted him as a visitor. Finally, they arrived at a massive palace floating above the city. Its surface shimmered in golden hues, and spires reached upward, disappearing into the clouds. Liam's eyes widened. He had seen pictures of alien architecture before, but nothing prepared him for this. Inside, the palace was quieter than the city outside. Soft lights glowed from the walls and strange symbols floated in the air, shifting slowly. At the center of the main chamber stood the Queen. She was taller than any human, her presence commanding, yet calm. Liam felt a strange mixture of fear and awe. "Liam Harrington," she said, her voice melodic but firm. "You have arrived. My device has failed, and I need your expertise to repair it. Time is critical. The stability of my people depends on it. Liam swallowed hard. I'll do my best, Your Majesty, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. But can you tell me what went wrong with the device? The Queen gestured gracefully, and a small device hovered in the air. It was unlike anything Liam had seen. A combination of machinery and living tissue, glowing with faint pulses of energy. The device seemed almost aware of his gaze, as if it were testing him. This device controls the core energy of our city, the Queen explained. It is linked to the life of my people. If it fails completely, chaos will follow. Liam took a careful step forward. He could feel the energy vibrating from the device. It was powerful, dangerous even. Yet he could not ignore the thrill of the challenge. I need to inspect it closely, he said. If I understand its structure, I can repair it. The Queen nodded. You may approach, but be careful. The device is sensitive to touch and thought alike. Only someone with clear understanding can succeed. As Liam knelt beside the device, he felt a strange connection. He could sense the pulses of energy, almost like a heartbeat. For the first time in his life, he understood that this was not just a machine, it was alive in a way. And as he traced his fingers along its surface, he felt a flicker of recognition, almost as if the device itself acknowledged him. Hours passed. Liam worked with intense concentration, carefully adjusting circuits, recalibrating energy flows, and tracing alien schematics that made his head spin. The palace was silent, save for the gentle hum of the device and the occasional soft guidance from the Queen. Finally, he stepped back and wiped sweat from his brow. I think I have it, he said, though part of him was uncertain. Alien technology was unpredictable, and there was always the risk of failure. The Queen approached and observed his work. She tilted her head, examining the device with a careful gaze. Then slowly, she nodded. It is done. You have succeeded where others would have failed. Liam exhaled, relief flooding him. He had repaired the device, stabilized its energy, and somehow earned the trust of an alien queen in the process. He thought he might finally be able to relax. But then, the Queen's voice softened, and she spoke a word that made Liam freeze. Thank you, my husband. Liam blinked. Husband, he whispered, unsure if he had heard correctly. The Queen's violet eyes held a depth he could not read. There was seriousness there, and something else, something unexpected. Liam's adventure, he realized, had only just begun. Liam stood frozen, staring at the Queen as the words "my husband" echoed in his mind. He had repaired a dangerous alien device, stabilized an entire civilization's energy grid, and now he was suddenly a husband? His human mind tried to make sense of it, but every explanation felt impossible. The Queen, graceful and serene, tilted her head slightly. Do not be afraid, Liam. You will understand in time. There are traditions in my world that may seem strange to you, but they are vital for our people's balance. Liam swallowed hard and nodded, though his thoughts were racing faster than his heartbeat. He had spent his life solving puzzles, but this was a puzzle with no manual. I will do my best to understand, he said. Myra, the silver-blue guide who had led him here, stepped forward. Come, she said gently. The Queen will explain everything in proper time. For now, you must see the rest of the palace. Understanding our world will help you accept your new role. Liam followed Myra through the grand halls. The palace was beyond anything he had ever imagined. Floors were made of translucent crystal, and beneath them flowed rivers of glowing energy that pulsed like veins. The walls shifted subtly, displaying intricate patterns that seemed almost alive. Some passages curved in impossible ways, as if the building itself was aware of its occupants. This palace, it feels alive, Liam said quietly. Yes, Myra replied. It is. Our architecture is bonded to the energy of the planet. It reacts to emotion, thought, and intention. That is why the Queen's device is so critical. Without it, the palace itself would become unstable. As they moved deeper, Liam began noticing the inhabitants. Aliens of all shapes and sizes walked through the halls, many pausing to glance at him curiously. Some had wings that shimmered with colors humans had no names for. Others had multiple eyes that rotated independently, scanning their surroundings, yet all seemed calm, unthreatening. Liam couldn't help but wonder how they felt about a human suddenly being called their queen's husband. He glanced at Myra, but her face was unreadable. They entered a room that was both enormous and intimate at the same time. A large circular platform floated in the center, covered in symbols that glowed faintly. The queen stepped forward, her presence commanding every corner of the space. Liam felt a strange pull toward her, as if the air itself was charged with expectation. "The device is only the beginning," the queen said, her violet eyes fixed on Liam. "In our tradition, the chosen partner of the queen holds a unique role. It is not simply personal, it is functional. Your skills, your understanding, and your humanity are part of why you have been chosen. You bring qualities no other being in the galaxy can offer." Liam blinked. I think I understand the importance of the role, but I need to know, what does it really mean to be the queen's partner? The queen gestured to the floaton. "It means live." Liam stepped into the quiet chamber at the heart of the palace. The room was unlike anything he had ever seen, a combination of living material and technology, glowing softly as if breathing. In the center hovered the queen's device, suspended in mid-air by invisible energy fields. Its surface shimmered with colors that changed with every pulse of light, and faint, rhythmic vibrations radiated from it, like a heartbeat. "This is it," the queen said, her voice calm but firm. "This device is connected to every energy source in my city. It is alive in a sense, and it reacts to thought and intention as much as to physical touch. You must be careful, Liam. It will respond to you, but not always as you expect." Liam swallowed. He had repaired alien devices before, but never one that seemed conscious. He could feel the energy thrumming through the air. "All right," he said, trying to steady his voice. "I'll need to study it first, see how the circuits and life elements interact." He knelt beside the floating device, examining the fine details. Tubes of translucent energy ran along its surface, feeding into crystalline nodes that pulsed faintly. Embedded circuits glimmered with light that seemed almost organic. The more he looked, the more he realized this was not just a machine. It was alive in a way humans had never experienced. "Myra," Liam said, glancing at his guide, "can you tell me what happened to it? Why it failed?" Myra shook her head. "Even the best engineers of our world could not fully predict its behavior. Some devices fail due to energy fluctuations, others due to emotional resonance from the queen herself. You, Liam, have something unique, a human perspective. Your mind can see patterns where others see chaos." Liam nodded, feeling a mixture of pride and pressure. This was not just a repair. It was a test of everything he knew, every skill he had ever developed. He reached out carefully, letting his fingers hover just above the device's surface. At first, nothing happened. Then, faint pulses traveled through his hands. The device seemed to respond to his touch, as if testing him. Liam adjusted his focus, analyzing the flow of energy and trying to anticipate its reactions. Slowly, he began to make small adjustments, rerouting energy flows, balancing the crystalline nodes and aligning the circuits. The device flickered and shimmered, reacting to his work. Liam felt a thrill of accomplishment. He was seeing results. But then, unexpectedly, the energy spiked, and the device emitted a high-pitched hum that made the room vibrate. Liam jumped back instinctively. The queen's calm voice echoed in the room. "Do not fear, Liam, it is testing you. It must know that you are capable. Proceed with care and focus." Liam took a deep breath and leaned in again. This time he approached not as an engineer fixing a machine, but as someone communicating with a living system. He traced the paths of energy with delicate precision, adjusting nodes, stabilizing flows, and synchronizing the device with his own rhythm. Slowly, the high-pitched hum softened. The light pulses became steady, almost welcoming. "This is incredible," Liam whispered to himself. It understands me." The Queen observed him quietly. "Yes," she said. "It recognizes the mind behind the hands. That is why you were chosen. A human mind is unpredictable, creative, and persistent. These qualities are necessary to stabilize what is beyond our control." Hours passed as Liam worked with the device. Every adjustment revealed a new layer of complexity. Small energy leaks, hidden conduits, and circuits that responded to thought. As much as touch, he navigated them all with patience and curiosity. At times he felt frustrated, but he reminded himself that every failure was a step toward understanding. "You are learning quickly," the Queen said after a pause. "Soon, you will not need guidance. The device will accept your solutions naturally." Liam nodded, feeling a strange sense of connection. He had repaired devices before, but this one felt alive, almost like it was communicating silently with him. He began to notice subtle changes, the color of the pulses, the rhythm of the vibrations, even the slight warmth under his fingertips. Then something unexpected happened. The device projected a faint holographic image above it. Liam blinked. The projection showed a ceremonial chamber filled with aliens, all standing in orderly rows. Symbols floated in the air, glowing softly. A figure resembling the Queen stood. In the center and beside her was a glowing outline that matched Liam's own shape. He looked at the Queen in surprise. What is this?" he asked. The Queen's violet eyes softened. "It is part of our tradition. The chosen partner of the Queen is not only a helper, but also a stabilizer. The device links to the energy of both the city and the partner. This projection shows what your role would be, how the bond will affect the people and the technology. It is a visualization, Liam, of what has already begun." Liam's heart raced. A bond? Was this why she had called him her husband? He had thought it was symbolic or ceremonial, but the device was showing something real. "My role, stabilizer?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," the Queen said. "Your human mind brings balance. Your creativity, your ability to adapt, and your courage allow the device to function fully. Without you, it would remain incomplete, unstable, and dangerous. You are essential." Liam felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. He had always believed humans could make a difference, but he had never imagined it on this scale. Here, in the heart of an alien civilization, he was essential, not just for the Queen, but for an entire city. Slowly, he extended his hands again. The device seemed to respond, its pulses syncing with his heartbeat. He adjusted a few final circuits, rerouted energy flows, and the device glowed steadily. A soft chime filled the chamber, and Liam knew he had succeeded. The Queen stepped closer, her gaze thoughtful. "You have done well, Liam. The device is fully restored, and its bond with you is established. Our city is safe, and the future is secured." Liam exhaled, relief washing over him. He had repaired the impossible, communicated with a living device, and fulfilled a role no other human had ever held. Yet the Queen's earlier words echoed in his mind. He was more than a technician now. He was part of something far larger than himself, a role that combined trust, responsibility, and connection. And somewhere deep down, he realized that this was only the beginning. Liam had barely caught his breath when the chamber around him began to shimmer. The Queen's device, now glowing steadily, pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost deliberate. The light expanded, filling the room with golden hues, and a holographic projection appeared above it. Liam stepped back, shielding his eyes. The projection displayed a vast ceremonial chamber filled with aliens standing in perfect rows. Symbols floated in the air, glowing softly, and in the center the Queen stood, serene and radiant. Next to her was a glowing figure that resembled Liam, outlined in soft light. What is this?" Liam whispered, his voice a mixture of awe and fear. The Queen's violet eyes met his. It is a visualization of a tradition, Liam. The device, your mind, and my energy are connected. This bond is ancient. Our civilization has depended on it for centuries. The partner chosen by the Queen stabilizes not only the device but the energy of our city. Liam's head spun. So, when you called me husband, you weren't joking. The Queen shook her head gently. It is more than a title. It is a role, essential to our survival. Do not misunderstand. This bond is not the same as human marriage at first. It is functional, necessary, and sacred. Liam stepped closer, his curiosity overcoming his fear. But why me? Why a human? The Queen's expression softened. Humans possess qualities unique among species: adaptability, creativity, intuition. These traits are unpredictable yet perfectly suited to maintain balance where others fail. That is why you were chosen. You are essential. Before Liam could respond, the device pulsed again, and the holographic chamber shifted. Aliens in ceremonial attire moved forward, and a soft chime echoed as if the projection had become alive. Liam realized with a shock that the device was projecting an actual ceremony, not just an image. This is happening now? He asked. Are these real beings? Yes, the Queen said calmly. The projection shows what would occur if the bond were formalized. It is a visualization of our tradition, a ceremonial confirmation of your role. The device connects energy, intention, and presence to ensure stability. It must recognize the chosen partner fully. Liam's mind raced. He had repaired the device, but now it seemed to demand more. A deeper understanding, a presence, even a consent he had not yet fully considered. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, heavier than any machine he had ever worked on. My role, is this voluntary? He asked carefully. The Queen stepped closer. Yes, it is voluntary, Liam, but it is also essential. Your presence is required to stabilize the device fully, to maintain the safety of the city and its people. Without you, the energy flows could falter, causing chaos. Liam exhaled slowly. He had faced dangerous devices before, machines that could explode, malfunction, or fail catastrophically. But this was a living, conscious system that relied on his mind and presence to function, and it was tied to an entire civilization. He looked at the glowing figure beside the Queen in the projection. It resembled him perfectly, yet it shimmered with energy he did not fully understand. His heart raced, but he felt a strange pull, an intuition that he was meant to be there. I understand, he said finally. I'll do whatever is needed to. Liam had spent the last few days learning the rhythms of the palace. The Queen's device hummed steadily, its energy flowing smoothly through the city, and he felt a quiet pride knowing that his human ingenuity had made such a difference. Yet the reality of his new role, the title of husband, was settling in slowly, like a weight he could neither ignore nor fully understand. He walked through the palace halls, observing the inhabitants. Aliens moved gracefully along the glowing corridors, many stopping to glance at him curiously. Some whispered in soft tones, their language melodic and unfamiliar, but all seemed respectful. Liam realized that his position gave him influence whether he wanted it or not. He was no longer just a visitor. He was part of their world, and with that came responsibility. Myra, Liam said, approaching his guide. How do I navigate everything? The Queen, the city, the device. I've repaired it, but now it feels like I'm living inside a machine. Myra smiled gently. You are not just inside the machine, Liam. You are part of its balance. That is what makes your presence essential. But it is understandable to feel overwhelmed. You must learn slowly, observe, and take each step as it comes. Trust yourself. Liam nodded, appreciating her advice. He had faced challenges before, malfunctioning devices, unstable energy cores, but this was different. The consequences were no longer mechanical. They were political, social, and deeply personal. Every choice he made could affect not just the palace but the lives of thousands. Later that day, he joined a council meeting with the Queen and her advisors. The room was circular, filled with holographic displays of energy flows, city grids, and floating schematics. Liam listened carefully as the Queen explained current issues, subtle instabilities, and potential improvements. One advisor, a tall alien with translucent wings, frowned as Liam spoke. "And you believe a human perspective can improve our systems?" it asked skeptically. Liam met its gaze steadily. "Yes," he said. "I may not be alien, but I can see patterns you might overlook. The device you rely on, it responds differently to human intuition. I can help stabilize flows in ways that complement your technology, not replace it." The advisor's wings twitched in surprise, but the Queen nodded. "He speaks truth. His role is essential, and his insight has already proven invaluable. Trust in his contribution as you trust in mine." Liam felt a subtle surge of pride. He was being taken seriously, not because of his species, but because of his skills, his intelligence, and his willingness to engage with a civilization far beyond his own. He had always believed humans were capable, but seeing the Queen's trust in the city's response made it real. Over the next few days, Liam worked closely with engineers and advisors. They had to adjust energy conduits, synchronize the device with multiple nodes across the city, and test systems that had never been fully stabilized before. Liam's human problem-solving, patience, and creativity became invaluable. He discovered small, elegant solutions that alien engineers had never considered, and slowly, even the most skeptical among them began to respect his presence. During a quiet moment, Liam stood beside the Queen in a balcony overlooking the city. The floating structures glowed with soft energy, moving in perfect harmony. The device, now stable, pulsed gently in his pocket. A smaller version the Queen had entrusted him to carry for observation. "You are adapting well," the Queen said, her voice soft but firm. "You are learning our ways, yet you remain true to yourself. That is rare, Liam, and it is why you are the chosen partner." Liam exhaled slowly. "It's a lot to take in. I never imagined I'd be part of something so big, so alive." The Queen smiled faintly. "Big, yes. Alive, yes, but also necessary. But your humanity brings balance where our civilization alone could not. That is why this bond exists, and soon you will see its full potential." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert from the device. A minor energy fluctuation had occurred in one of the city's outlying towers. Liam's heart skipped a beat. Even small instabilities could cascade into larger problems if left unchecked. "Stay here," the Queen said. "We must investigate." Liam followed her and Myra to the tower. The air hummed with energy as floating conduits adjusted automatically. Liam examined the systems quickly and identified a subtle misalignment in the energy node. He adjusted it with steady hands, and the device pulsed in approval, stabilizing the flow. "You see?" the Queen said once the energy returned to balance. "Even small interventions make a difference. You are already integral to the functioning of our city. Never underestimate the value of your presence." Liam nodded, feeling both pride and humility. He had come as a human engineer, but now he was a stabilizer, a trusted partner, and a symbol of humanity's ingenuity. Every step he took, every adjustment he made, strengthened the bond between human and alien civilization. As they returned to the palace, Liam noticed a small group of aliens watching him from a distance. Some nodded subtly, a gesture of acknowledgement. Others whispered, quietly. The city, he realized, was learning to accept him, not as an outsider, but as someone essential, someone whose skills, perspective, and humanity were respected. That night, Liam stood alone in his quarters, gazing at the softly glowing device. He thought about the responsibility, the trust, and the unexpected bond he shared with the Queen. It was overwhelming, yes, but it was also exhilarating. He had never felt more needed, more alive, or more capable. and deep down he knew that challenges would continue to come. Rival factions, unpredictable technology, and the weight of an entire civilization rested in part on his shoulders. But he also knew he was ready. Humans were capable of amazing things, and he intended to prove that here, among the stars, in a world far beyond his own. Liam exhaled slowly, placing his hand over the glowing device. It pulsed gently in response, a rhythm that felt like understanding, acceptance, and partnership. He smiled faintly. No matter what came next, he was ready to face it, not just as an engineer, not just as a human, but as the Queen's partner, a stabilizer, and a living symbol of humanity's potential. The city had grown calm in the days after the device's stabilization. Its towers shone brighter, its air felt lighter, and its people moved with renewed confidence. Yet Liam could sense that something larger was coming. He felt it in the rhythm of the device he carried, and in the quiet way the Queen often looked at him, as if preparing him for the next step. The morning began with a call to the Grand Chamber. Myra led Liam through the palace halls, their glowing patterns shifting like living veins of light. "Today is important," she whispered. "The Queen wishes to show the Council and the people that the balance between human and alien is real. It is not just words, Liam, it must be proven." Liam frowned. "Proven? How?" Myra gave a small smile. "By trust, by unity, by stepping fully into the role you have already begun to live." When they entered the Grand Chamber, the atmosphere was heavy with expectation. Advisors, guardians, and representatives from across the city gathered in a wide circle. At the center stood the Queen, radiant as the energy of the palace flowed around her. She lifted her hand and silence fell. "Our world has lived in harmony with the device for centuries," she began, her voice echoing softly. "But its balance weakened. Alone we could not restore it. Alone we could not move forward. Yet with the help of one human, a stranger among us, we have found stability. He is not just my partner by chance. He is my partner by choice, by bond, and by trust. Today we show that union to all." Murmurs spread across the chamber. Some nodded with approval, others whispered with doubt. The Queen turned to Liam and motioned him forward. Liam stepped into the center, feeling the weight of every gaze on him. His heart pounded, but he forced himself to stand tall. He was no longer just an engineer who had stumbled into an alien city. He was part of something greater. The Queen held out the core of the device, its glow pulsing steadily. "Liam," she said, "our bond is not just ceremonial, it is functional. The device now responds to you as it does to me. But to prove this balance, we must join together, here, before all." Liam hesitated for only a moment before placing his hand on the core. It pulsed warmly beneath his skin, and suddenly, the chamber filled with light. Holographic streams of energy spread through the air, weaving around both him and the Queen. The device responded to their shared presence, their combined will. Gasps rose from the crowd as the energy stabilized, spreading harmony not only through the palace but across the city. Outside, towers lit brighter, skies shimmered with subtle color, and the faint hum of balance filled the atmosphere. The Queen's voice was calm but firm. "You see, this is not chance. Humanity brings perspective we cannot, and we bring knowledge they do not. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are stable." One of the skeptical advisors stepped forward. "And what of the future? Can this bond last, or is it only a moment of luck?" Liam spoke clearly, his voice steady. "It will last because it's not luck. It's trust, respect, and the willingness to see value in each other. Humans are adaptable. We've survived countless challenges by learning, by growing, by working with what we don't fully understand. That's what I've done here, and it's what I'll keep doing." The chamber fell silent, then slowly filled with nods and quiet murmurs of agreement. Even the skeptical advisor lowered his head slightly. As if conceding, the Queen turned to Elle.